Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. In this episode we're going to be making legs for this Workmate Shopbox. I go to garage sales quite a bit now that I'm retired. Sitting on the floor in the back, dusty, beat up, pretty much forsaken, was a Workmate Shopbox, portable project center. My dad had one, and then he ended up with two, and then three, and I inherited three of his. Then I picked up a couple more. Next thing you know, I got Workmate shop boxes and Workmates. But they're a cool little tool. The Workmate Workbench has the vise on the top that you can use to hold things and do minor stuff. You really can't bang on it too hard because it's not steady enough. But it'll hold it while you work. So anyways, I picked up the Workmate shop box and thought, well, okay, I'll see what it is. And brought it home, put it in the garage, and it found its way back into the back, just like it had at the garage sale. Woefully inadequate and hidden from sight. About 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning the garage and grabbed a hold of this by the handy little handle right there in the middle, picked it up and went to move it, and looked at it and thought, well, the bottom of those pockets are hollow. I'd never noticed that. And there's 4 of them. I'll bet you can slip a 2x4 right in there. And lo and behold, you can. Now you see the problem with slipping a 2x4 in there. The pocket's tapered. 2x4s aren't. It'd be nice if this set splayed out with the bottom of the 2x4 cut at a nice even angle, and this slipped up in there and locked in, but 2x4. The end's blunt. This actually happens to be a piece of an old pallet. The end is blunt and doesn't fit into that hole and lock in any place. If you just slip 4 equal length 2x4s in there, they don't sit even. Then you need to go all the way up into the top of the pocket and lock into the top of the pocket so that they're all the same length. And they need to register against the faces of the pocket. So I said, okay, now we've gone from cool little item to something that becomes a project. I'm going to try and taper the inside so that it matches. For this, what I want to do here is have this angle on the outside be like so, and this angle be cut on the inside like this, so that this angle so that this leg tapers out as much as possible. This surface is flush with the front, and this seats up against the back. I can put a stub piece inside here to help make that 2x4 fit in that hole. But I'm thinking if I taper this down to match that pocket and I get 4 inches of hook, I'm going to be pretty good. Make my mark across here. Where this one lines up, and make a line across here. I'm going to take that line my 2 cross-reference lines, and now run them across the ends. Pick up the line on the end, right there. Swing down until I line up with the line on this edge. Do the same thing here. I'm ready to start playing again. Done. Taper's cut on 4 legs. I need to cut the legs at the right angle at the bottom so that it doesn't ride on one side or the other. If anything, I would rather that it touched on the outside before it touched on the inside. That way, as weight gets put on it, it'll splay out further and catch more of the foot. So to make sure that I end up where I want it to be, I want to make sure these are firmly seated and strike a line there. There. I pull the legs out. Measure down a set distance from that line and cut this leg at that line. Same thing with the others. This bench is 36 at the top. I'm going to set the top of that bench at about 33. This bench I made up for hand work, close work. I want to get it up close to my eyes and easy to reach. Also, having this vise at this height makes it easier for me to plane because I'm 6 foot. And that means that I want to have my hands and arms in a neutral position. I don't want to be way down, I don't want to be way up. So most of the time I'm playing at about this level. That means when I spread my feet out to get a good balance, see how that drops the center of mass on my body, so that now my right arm is almost parallel to the surface of the bench, and so is my left arm, which means they're in the power position, ergonomically neutral. Up here, you're taking muscles that you don't normally use and you're trying to do things that you don't normally do. Down here, you're making yourself bend over to get any force on anything, hard on your back. So about here is about right, but I'm not going to be planing on this bench. This little bench is not set up for that kind of strenuous work. I might be doing some hand sawing on it, minor stuff. When I'm hand sawing, I want to have this arm out straight holding the part, so that when I finish this stroke, my arm is fully extended and the blade is done a full cut. I have enough length that I can operate the saw the full length of the blade, but I'm not going to hit the handle on the surface of the part. So the difference between different operations means you want to do different things with your work holding. The Workmate is 11 inches high. If I want to have a 33-inch workbench, I take the 33, subtract the 11 of the Workmate box, and I end up with 22. So this leg needs to be 22 inches from that line down to the line on the leg. Come down here, 1-inch line, mark at the 23, 23 here, 23 there, strike a line across between the two 23-inch marks, and that's my cut line. Do the same thing on the other side. Distant 8 per inch. Goes through it like a knife through hot butter. Let's try a test fit. Seems solid enough. Not exactly dead level, but pretty close considering how warped the top is. About 1/8 of an inch out of square. But when you set it down, it doesn't rock. It's a little bit high. I think I might have been better off making the legs a little shorter. don't have a good grip and I've got it up too far. Increases the leverage on the board, makes it harder to cut. Not bad. But I'm impressed. I really thought this was going to be a fiasco. This was supposed to be a joke. I honestly didn't think this project was going to work. It was going to be a joke. I was going to kind of laugh and poke fun at the cheap, junky toolbox and point out all the mistakes that they made with it. But all in all, I'm rather impressed with it. For 4 pieces of scrap lumber, a $5 toolbox, it's not too bad. Maybe an apartment dweller could use this as a temporary workbench until they got one better. I don't know. I've got a nice workbench here, got a nice shop here, but I still like it. The Workmate Shopbox by Black & Decker. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a moment and click the like button. And if you'd like to, you can subscribe and you're going to see more videos of things like this. Good projects, bad projects, all kinds of projects, but I have a lot of fun doing them. Thanks for watching.